Yeah, so I wanted to tell a story about and also just do some history on where I'm from because I think there's a dope story to tell there. And man, I looked at this. I'm sorry, my mic was all the way on the other side. Uh, but yeah, bro, man, some places got hit with that slavery way harder than others, and
Hmm.
I didn't realize that I grew up in a town that had got hit pretty that was a pretty big port for it. Um, so the 1860 census showed that uh there were 15,000 slaves and 10,000 white people in that county. 949 of these people own all 15,000 of those people. 96 of those white people own 40 or more um, people. And then the rest, you know, just, I guess, 40 or less. Um, and then something interesting happened between 1860 and 1870. That number decreased. So then it went down to from 10,000 all the way down. They saw a 41% drop to it. It was like 5,900 white people. And it was still the same 15 something thousand black people. But then over the past 100 years, now the number is like uh I think it's more white than black. I don't know how that happened.
Mm.
Um yeah. And so that was interesting. It was also interesting, man, to look at I'm looking at the list of all the slaveholder names and all the surnames.
Oof.
Oh man. Talk about flashbacks to your yearbook. Oh, bro, how many of my cousins and family members and friends and classmates
Hmm.
got the last
All,
name of these guys? I'm like,
all, all, all
oh,
the sons of people. You know what I mean?
it hits you a little
All,
different.
I'm a son of Hinder.
You are
Hinder,
you are a son defender. Yeah. I'm
which I'm really interested in. Like, what does that even mean? I should look that up sometime.
mm, the
This
Hinders were probably a clan of I
so
don't
you
know.
telling me Phoenix City, Alabama was a high trafficking area for kidnapped bodies.
That is correct. And partly because we live so close to the Chattahoochee River, which is one of the largest rivers in the country. So that was one of the ports that they used when they were bringing in ships.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then, but what happened? And it's so crazy. This is a side note that's crazy. So that mass exodus when all those white people left, when they got wealthy, they took all their wealth and they built their wealth in Columbus, Georgia.
Yep.
And and what's interesting is growing up, there was that whole like rich poor mentality between Phoenix City and Columbus. Like if you from Phoenix
Yes.
City, you're poor, but if you move to Columbus, oh, you're
You
rich. So
made it.
you live
Mm-hmm.
right. I'm like, whoa, that started from all of that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, and Coca-Cola was created in that area, and I also found out that the church that I grew up in was built on a plantation. The owners of the plantation, I think their son or their daughter married the guy who bought Coca-Cola. I think around like 1919 maybe.
Man.
So there's a lot of intertwining like historical facts to my hometown that, nobody that looks like me are reaping any benefits off of, but their ancestors have some type of connection to. So
Hmm.
that was that was very, very interesting.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's something that hits you different when you find out these kind of things about your hometown. I'm from Jennings, Missouri,
Hmm.
and uh in the office, hold on, computer's gonna tell me low battery in a minute. 1 second. In the office of my high school, there was this picture of the like first sketches of the high school, and underneath was this sort of caption of the city of Jennings, and it talked about how like Jennings is named after Peter Jennings or whatever the dude's name was, but he was a slave owner, and he
Hmm.
built a railroad through basically most of St. Louis. But Jennings is like responsible for the railroad system through St. Louis, but it was built by slaves. And it was just like, wow, look at that.
Wow.
Such a parallel.
Yeah.
Such a parallel, you know. Um, it does something to you to know, like, man, like my ancestors built this with their hands, built this
Yeah.
place, built the revenue of this place. Their
Right.
hands. It's
Right.
just interesting, man. My uncle used to tell me all the time. He used to say, there's the people that know what, and there's the people that know why. You know, uh, always try to be one of those people that know why, as opposed
Mm.
to what.
Mm.
You life can become a lot easier, you know, if you can think of it that way. So I'm
Yeah.
very into that message.
My granddad, man, has a street named after him because he worked for the city for 50 years and built roads and ditches and you know uh, worked on different projects for the city. So he did
Hmm.
a lot of that building, what I mean, with his hands, which is something that I noticed. I don't know if that gets passed down in my generation. Um, I wasn't like that. I
Nah.
like that.
Uh-uh.
I
Nuh-uh.
was I was a sports guy, but nah. I mean, and it's funny because I'm like that now. Like I would build, like I would get in nature or put my hands to work on something. But I think maybe I had some suppressed emotions about something. I don't know. That's possible. Uh,
Yeah.
right. But but yeah, man. But back to that. So 96 people owning 40 or more people in different houses. And I wonder at some point, is just learning history, is that going to have to be a part of therapy? Because when you start to see the names and understand the names, sometimes that might be traumatic. You know what I mean? Like to find out the name of a funeral home is after a slave master, and this is where you've been burying all your ancestors.
Hmm.
Or yeah, like your school or your last name or the street you grew up on that you've been representing. Like I'm from, you know,
Hmm. Yeah. We
Fort
from Jefferson. We from Jefferson. We
right, like
from
Jeff.
Lee.
Oh no, no, you don't want to be. You don't want to be.
Like, why y'all fighting over these names?
Why? Oh man. Yeah.
You know.
So
But that stuff mainly comes from like just the pride of where you occupy your body, right? Like it don't even matter where it is. Like you can be like trash can. It'd be
Right.
like supermarket. This
Right.
don't even matter. Like, it's just this is where I occupy my body and I'm proud of it. So I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that, but you know that stuff comes out, man. Uh at Kanye. You know, you never know what could trigger you, and I feel like
Yeah.
that brother has been triggered by some stuff. You know, part of it, man. How you tell me how you feel about this? Do you feel like because I try to take a philosophical view at a lot of this stuff. Um, we've been seeing a lot of celebrities that a lot of their personal business or a lot of their mental illnesses have been shown on the forefront to the public, especially in our community. And part of it's like, oh man, it's messed up that these people have to be displayed like this while they're going through an
Hmm.
illness. Then the other part of it was like, but what about the collective consciousness learning a lesson about itself? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of looked at it that way too. Like, what Kanye is going through represent for us as a collective, or what does an entanglement mean? Because that could go deep into like what we're going through as a community or what we're going through personally in life. It's all metaphors. So,
Yeah, man. I
uh,
mean, like that's somebody, honestly, that whole entanglement thing, as much as I've been learning about ownership and taking ownership about like your decisions and what you choose to do, man, like this is bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I'm willing to call bullshit on it, you know, and it's becoming a joke because everybody knows that that's bullshit. An entanglement, an entanglement. Like, come on, man. Come on.
uh, and
No, I'm not
that's it.
falling for the okie doke. It's it's
That's it.
it's the same reasons. Like I seen people that's like, I'm not finna let myself get distracted by some Will and Jada mess. And then as soon as that came out, it was just like that was it. That was all they needed. All they needed was for her to go on there and show this hypocrisy of you know what gives her the ratings compared to what she don't want to share with everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how transparent can you be? You know?
I mean, if you want peace, you gotta be transparent if you want to not be in the entanglement of it all. You know,
But but
you know,
yeah.
it's it's one of those things where I look at life, man, and I say like, dude, we go through this however many times, man. Like, we've been on this earth before. Like some of us are still dwelling and trying to figure it out on our like eighth or ninth cycle at this point.
Right.
And you know, I don't know, man. Some of us can wake up to it and see the stuff for what it is, and still kind of enjoy the show while we're here. We're like, we're trying to get back to that to that bus ride, man.
Right,
We're
right.
trying to get to that bus ride
You
at
know,
the end,
I'm
man.
I'm 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 on the bus ride right now, and that's what's helping me coast through all of this chaos.
Mm,
Is just
yeah,
just go for the ride, man.
yeah, man. I mean, dude, and I can only imagine, dude. You got the responsibilities that you have for yourself are great at this time because you don't have these distractions to keep you from self. You know what I mean? Like there is a sort of self consciousness that will build from this from people who live alone uh, through all of this.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it's like for me, you know what I mean, having a family, having people around all the time. It's hard to take that journey sometimes, but it's good because it's a different kind of journey. It's not the same journey, should I say?
Right. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah. But what's cool about it though is that, I get to learn from your perspective and journey as you get to learn from mine and you know, uh so that's a cool thing. It's like there's so many different paths to whatever we're leading ourselves to. Uh
Dude, dude, I say it all the time, man. I said it all the time. I dug the thing that you sent me about DMT, about like,
Oh, we just
if
had a
we
comment about that. Or did you see it?
uh uh
Oh, oh, that's funny. So Jim Adamson asks, y'all ever take DMT? Uh, not successfully, but I plan on having an experience. So, but before
oh
I talk about
yeah.
DMT, I would give some education on it for my viewers, so they won't think that I'm out here, doing some stuff I shouldn't be doing. But what were you gonna say about that text I sent, Marcus?
No, oh man, it's so real. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, man, that's right. Like I do have more vivid dreams when I choose to eat earlier and go to sleep later, kind of thing. So I started eating some meals around 7 o'clock, letting that
Nice.
process, and then probably going to bed around 11 or 12. And,
Ah,
you know, Sarah
nice.
said it affected her right away, just being conscious about it. But then, like, for me, it takes a little longer, or like my dreams happen more so in like the, what is it? Like daydreaming, like I had these like day visions. Yeah,
What was that like?
dude, man, I could just literally be sitting here and all of a sudden I'm in a day vision and I start responding, I start talking, and Sarah's like, "Who you talking to?" I'm like, "Oh man, I'm nothing," and I don't even like bother to try to explain what it was I was doing. But I've been doing this
Wow.
since I was a kid, dude. Like, and then I have deja vu sometimes based on day visions.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Can you are you like have you ever been able to like piece any puzzles together from that?
Um. No. No. It's been it's just been like one of those things where it's just like they come, I can hold on to them, and if it's something that really impacted me, I had a I had one the other day where I was sort of just thinking about, uh, like the state of my house, right? Like it's a lot of space, a lot of land and stuff, but I want to like be able to do something with it. I want to like build upon it so that it can be more for community and things like that. So I had like day visions about that, and eventually like the idea of like I'm gonna start building my kids a playground. I'm building a
Hmm.
playground, you know.
So you basically just working on manifesting. You
So I
visualizing.
guess in a way, but it just happened. It wasn't like I was thinking about it, like, oh, I want to do things. It was just like it all started playing out in my head, like
Hmm.
out of nowhere,
Yeah.
to a point now where, I start digging a hole, man. Start digging a hole in my backyard. It's the best in the world, man. It's the
Mm.
best feeling in the world. Just hold the shovel, dig a hole in your backyard.
I bet. Yeah. I
Just
mean,
it's life.
I used to do stuff like that when I was little, growing up. I wanted to build something. I could never put it fully together, but I know that feeling. It's like you're connected to something. Um, but yeah, I had don't you hate? Have you ever had those dreams where you're you're half awake, but you're affected by something that's happening in real life, but you think you're dreaming about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, like peeing in the bed.
Oh man, yeah,
You ever
something
had
like.
one of those?
Oh man, I used to have
Like,
those.
you know,
Yeah, when I was
you
little,
go,
yeah, that was awful.
you like, man, like it's the dream is so clear that like it's like, man, I done went to the bathroom like 20 times already. Like, what is the problem?
Thought I was there,
Is the never ending stream of piss. What is the
right?
wrong?
But so Nat sometimes her Oscar, her dog, he had, I guess he had nightmares or something, man. I didn't even know dogs have nightmares like this,
Oh yeah,
but
dude.
he'll like whimper in his sleep. And so one night, this other night, I'm hearing it, and so for whatever reason, my mind created a dream where he whimpered because I had put some weed in a bong, and then I had started smoking, and then the whole apartment was filled with smoke. So he was coughing because me,
You
me and
killing
that,
me. Brandon, you
because we
killing me.
right until I realized, wait, I'm asleep right now. I'm having a dream, and then I woke up, and then I kind of nudged, and then he woke up, and I realized, oh man, I really just put a whole story together out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Oh, we got Duncan coming into the building.
Hey,
What's
Oh
up,
my
man?
goodness.
what's up? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you party
Awesome.
animal.
Yeah, party. Yeah, man. We're up here in Big Bear. We sort of miscalculated how long it would take. So we got up here with how it is with babies when you're like
Automatically.
right at the edge of like a complete breakdown. But he did it. It's
Yeah,
really
dude.
cool.
Nice.
Nice.
Hell yeah, man.
Hold on, I'm gonna
Oh,
move into a different room here. Hang on a second.
we got a question from my homie Carter. What's up, Carter?
Hey,
Oh,
I'm gonna try to
and
find a chair for this desk. I'll be right back, you guys. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm new to
oh,
this
okay,
app.
cool.
Demons could show up. Anything could happen.
We'll wait until you get back. Hey, Miss Portis, thanks for tuning in.
Miss Portis.
If anybody has any questions,
Jim Adamson. We
text them in.
we were on she's on Instagram.
Oh,
That's
okay.
dope, man. She's the one who hit me up. Nobody's ever hit me up about this. I was like, yo, what's up?
So that's interesting that the DMT helps you have more vivid dreams. Because if let's say we was talking about wanting to try it, somebody would be like, "Yo, what do you want to do?" It's like, no, this is something that's a part of this human DNA. So there's some connection right there with it. Before I get to that though, I was gonna go to that question from Carter. It's asked about astroplane and people only using the art of thrust when there's so many more elemental arts and laws of motion. He went deep with it. He see, uh-huh.
You know a little something.
Okay. Thanks.
You wanna you
Aaron.
You want to say hi real quick?
Yeah. Hi.
Hey,
How are you guys?
I can't really see, but I can hear you.
Hi.
I'm good. How you doing?
We are great. We are great.
I'm ready for a little bit of wine.
Nice.
I got a
Don't do that.
We love cookies.
You know where that's from.
Oh, is that? That's
Yeah,
tender
man.
greens?
That's tender greens, baby.
Tender greens.
Okay, wait.
Pandemic Philosophy Views brought to you by Tender
Tender
Greens,
greens.
where you can get your greens tender.
Sorry for being late.
No, it's all good, man. Dude, just wait until you have two. You're never gonna be on time for anything. Ever.
What have I done?
So I'll do a quick plug since there was a pregnant pause. So tribeassassin.com is where you can get herbs to help you open up your pineal gland by yours truly. So man, I was doing a lot of research over the years about like weed, cannabis, and DMT and mushrooms and like consciousness. And I just fell in love with all the medicinal lessons I learned from it, and especially about the blue lotus flower. So I created a recipe with the blue lotus flower that you can smoke with your cannabis or by itself, or you can make as a tea, and it helps you have vivid dreams, as well as sleep better, as well as open up your third eye / pineal gland and detox your body. So yeah,
Can you
go
spell
get
the
that.
website out?
TribeOfSession.com. Tribeobsession.com. So
Okay.
Session is the name of, that's what the ancient Egyptians used to call the blue lotus flowers. So that was like, you know, their special tonic of choice.
A lot of magic people I know are really into that. Blue
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't gotten that deep into it yet, but I'm interested.
I have no idea what it does. I've heard it's just everyone I know who's into the occult has some affinity with Blue Lotus. Like there's I'll see if I can find this YouTube video of Damien Eccles like extracting it. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh wow.
Nice. Yeah, man, you see it all over the walls. They talk about it with like helping you in that dream state or that meditation state. So it's a really good helper or a guide, spiritual guide, a plant guide, plant medicine. Especially when you combine it with other natural herbs. Yeah.
Cool.
But Marcus, were you gonna try to tackle that question though about astral planning?
Well, I find it interesting, man, because you know, from what I've understood about astro traveling, a lot of it has to do with, you know, just sort of like visiting other people, going in during your dreams, not necessarily doing it during like a meditation or such. You know, I just sort of read something about it and I was like, oh shit, people do it during like meditations and things too, like fully conscious and awake. I did not realize that.
Yeah, that's. Do you feel like you ever done that before?
I think I've time jumped before. I feel like I've time jumped.
Which direction?
Future.
Whoa.
Future for sure.
Yo, y'all gotta go watch Dark, man, on Netflix. Duncan, have you seen that?
No.
Oh man, it's a great show about time jumping and time travel, and yeah, it's a German show that they picked up. They got, you know, the voiceover for it now, but it's really good.
Cool. Well, Marcus, you can't just say you traveled into the future and leave it at that.
Right.
Well, a lot of the times when I travel into the future, man, I see the same thing. I see a stadium full of people. I'm not sure what I'm talking about, but I'm talking in front of a stadium full of people for whatever reason, and it's always like the same sort of thing. Like I'm there, and people are like up at like fucking going crazy, and I'm sort of like pounding my fist on the podium. I don't know what I'm saying, but it sounds rousing.
Cool.
So I'm not really sure what else there is to see in there, but I absolutely cannot wait to live that out. Wait, is this the thing right here? The Damien.
Yeah, that's that
link?
Blue Lotus extraction thing. It's like it's just him showing how to do this crazy. I don't know what it is, but he definitely is into Blue Lotus. Y'all should check that out for sure. I want to get some of this Blue Lotus stuff though. I've been really interested in lucid dreaming lately.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. The more the like, I don't know if you heard Marcus earlier talk about well, that text that I sent the other day about eating earlier. So what a lot of these herbs do is help you detox. So the more clear your gut is, the more clear, you know, that brain that's connected to it is. So going on a diet helps with that, but also other herbs like the mugwort, which is another one that I use, which specifically helps you with the lucid dreaming. But what helps you also with that is you know, meditating before bed too, and doing certain meditations to like start to program your mind to lucid dream. You know what I mean?
I've heard that. You know, when I was a kid, my mom had these astral projection subliminal tapes that I would listen to before I went to bed, and so I had a few experiences from those. And it went on for a few years, and then it just I very like I did it maybe because of the pandemic like a month ago, and that was the first time in a long time. But it's such a cool thing to be able to do. That some people like you were saying, they can just like start meditating and do it, which is crazy to me.
Which is crazy, you're right. All of a sudden, you're just gonna go in the future and start fucking some shit up.
Right.
Or just start fucking. I mean, that's the other thing. The number one reason to try to astral project or lucid dream is you could hump anyone you wanted, theoretically. You know, that was like, you control your dreams, you could just start fucking everything.
Right. Yeah, that was
things you think about when you're horny and a teenager. That's the reason you want to develop occult powers.
Exactly.
What are you doing in that room? What are you doing in there? Astral traveling, Mom. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Man, what so astro traveling, and then you have sleep paralysis. Anybody have experienced that one?
Every time that I'm gonna do lucid dreaming, I start off with sleep paralysis every time. I think it's a prerequisite.
Whoa.
I sleep with a weighted blanket for that reason.
For what reason?
Just to keep myself still in one place. I like the feeling of paralysis while I sleep.
What? I haven't heard that one.
I gotta get a weighted blanket. I almost like took the bait from these commercials and then I didn't do it. Are they awesome?
Yeah, dude. Oh man, it's the best. Mine is 45 pounds, and it's
That's
just
dangerous.
like it's just a big hug.
Whoa.
It's a big hug.
You know what? That kind of makes sense though. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, man. I love it.
Duncan, we started out the conversation. I was just talking to Marcus a little bit about some of the history from the county I grew up in. And just interesting how I looked at I was reading this article actually, and it was saying that the 1860 census There were 15,000 slaves, and there were 10,000. The rest of the population, I think it was 10,000 more white people. Um, but there were only 949 owners. So that there were 900, less than 1,000 people owning 15,000 people. Uh, Within the next decade, the amount of owners decreased, and a lot of the white people left. And so now the ratio of black and white is like 15,000 to 6,000. And then somewhere along the line, the numbers just completely flipped over the next like 50 to 60 years. Um, so it hits a different way, and not like in some like traumatic way, but it's just interesting, man, just to see a part of that slave history in a more personal perspective. Like, wow, this is really where it was happening, and most of the people living here were a part of that system. Because there's some areas that probably didn't even deal with slavery, but the part I grew up in definitely did.
Yeah.
How, when you were growing up there, how familiar were you with that data?
Not familiar at all. And it never even dawned on me that all the schools I went to, all the street names, all the towns are named after Native Americans. And all of my black friends, most of our last names are last names of, slave owners. But you don't think about that stuff because nobody's talking about it, and they don't teach it to you in class. So, in elementary, they never taught us about slavery. They taught us about Christopher Columbus discovering America. They taught us about the Pilgrims and the Native Americans getting along with each other. And they completely skipped over that whole. You heard about slavery through like, hearing grandma talk about it, but she didn't even like to talk about it. So, yeah, you never really. It's a lot of things that's right there in your face that you never really just put together like that.
No. That's crazy, man. That they wouldn't. You would think that would be like one of the, you lead with that when you were teaching people. You lead with that, but they just leave it out.
What you think, man? They gonna expose Colonel Sanders? They're gonna make him out to be a racist?
He stole somebody's recipe.
He stole somebody's recipe.
I went to his grave.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Well, I was visiting a friend, and he took me to Colonel Sanders' grave, and he stole money off of it. People leave, for some reason, people leave pennies on Colonel Sanders' grave, and I remember he did that thing where he was not really trying to be sneaky. He wanted you to see him. It was really funny because it's like, who cares? But he got this twinkle in his eye when he took like a penny off of the grave and put it in his pocket. But yeah, Colonel Sanders' grave has fucking change all over it. Like it's a wishing well.
Oh,
wow. Yeah. That's interesting.
Who the fuck was Colonel Sanders, by the way? Is that like,
I bet you
I'm
he was a 33rd degree Mason.
You think so?
I bet you he was.
I don't even want to look him up because it's like, how many of these people it's gonna be terrible. Hold on, my phone's ringing. It might be my wife. Hang on, let me.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, man.
Colonel Sanders. There's a lot of things that's gonna come up, man. The last slave ship was brought in through the Chattahoochee River, which is that river near my hometown. Now the only thing about that though is where are they? Where are any of these ships? That's something I would like to know because I would like to see one.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Where are any of these what?
The slave ships. Because apparently my hometown received the last one. So there was a factory, and I want to say it was the guy who invented Coca-Cola. He used to make guns for the Confederate Army. That's an interesting little fact for you.
Well, yeah, Coca-Cola is, man. Let's talk about Coca-Cola for a second. So this is the thing that blew my mind. I didn't know this. So when there a lot of medical products, they still use cocaine. you know, like a lot of like there's medical cocaine that they use, and where do they get all the cocoa leaves for the cocaine that they make in the United States? Coca-Cola.
Ah.
Coca-Cola supplies cocoa leaves to make cocaine the pharmaceutical industry uses, but it's like I think that's all they're using it for
Right.
is medical cocaine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like you
Yeah.
think that's it? You think the people in the cocaine factory are like, this is only for like this is just for
Right.
medicine.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
Justin,
That's
clean off
why
your nose.
gonna get
Oh,
this
it's
all
just
out.
medical.
Right. Where I want where cocoa leaves primarily you know, where they grow. Where do they grow?
South
So
America, right?
that's what I thought, right?
Yeah, but
Huh.
Coca-Cola imports them
Oh.
and like I could it blew my mind when I realized like, oh my God, it's like they figured it out. Like Coca-Cola like has the like is connected to like the American cocaine industry, which nobody talks about because it's legal, because it's for medicine, man. They're just using it for medicine. Definitely not giving it to the CIA. Definitely none of that. Just for medicine. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
there's cocaine factories somewhere in the United States that are
Right.
legal. I'll look it up
That's
right now.
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to know.
That's crazy, man. I mean, but that's the thing too, man. It brings me back to this whole like trust about the world thing that we're supposed to have, and like how it can be this like beautiful place, and it can be, but it's a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah. I don't know the problem with just destroying all the idols. Like that's like the Kali wears a necklace that supposedly it's the heads of the gods, you know. And I think in this case that necklace is Colonel Sanders' head, probably Columbus's head, you know, fucking George Washington's head, you know.
Right.
The idea is like, look, why do we need these fake heroes? Let's have real heroes.
We
What?
do we
You
do
know?
need real heroes.
Yeah. Why do we have to
'Cause-
invent them? There's enough good people in the world right now that can take the place of people who are wearing the teeth of their fucking hostages.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They
But
there was a British protester who put a statue of herself up, and they took it down immediately.
Down. Yeah.
yeah, I
Get
saw
rid of
that.
that.
I mean, but so how did that even happen? So, so you brought up masonry, Marcus, because that's interesting. Because if Masons were the ones who built it, well, who forced people to build this country, then that makes me want to know how much responsibility then is there on the Moors and them giving this information to these Europeans while they were in power during the time 700 to 1400 in Spain and Portugal. Because from my little bit of research, the first Europeans to get to North America and do their thing were Spanish. But what Spanish were they? Were these the Moors who were living there from Africa, or were these, you know, the ones who had kicked them out and they were more colonizing people? And where did they get the information to even come to South America and North America? What you know, like so, you know, how much does that transaction, you know, cause all of this to happen? Where maybe these guys just got too much freaking information and then, you know, created a created a storm.
It's a system, man. It's a system. I mean, it's all set up. It's all set up, you know, and like almost like if anything goes off the tracks, we got to use that to our advantage. Nothing detours the plan. Nothing gets in the way of the plan. You know, it's proof, fail-safe proof.
Okay, let's talk about the plan, though. Let's talk about the plan.
That's what I was gonna ask. What's the plan?
What's the plan? Yeah, what's the plan?
World domination.
By who?
Right.
Dead men.
Oh, right. But I mean, I guess there's probably, don't you think how weird you have to be to actually, this is the thing that's always like boggled my mind, like the famous conquerors. You know, what's that story? Like Caesar like cried when he thought there was no more land to conquer. You know, like,
wow.
How do you have that much energy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why in your head? It just would never occur to me to think, I want the whole planet. Like, you know, like how fucking weird are you? That's just strange that you would, you can only be at one place at any given time.
Yeah.
But instead you want to imagine that you've conquered the world. Why?
Right.
Why? What's
right?
It seems like a lot of work.
It just seems like a deep-seated need to be liked.
Yeah.
Like
that's a deep insecurity.
Like, it is. It's super deep.
Well,
I mean,
you know, that just came out. It just said that the CIA just apparently released some files saying Hitler had a micro penis. And he liked to get shit on.
Wow.
And that's, I mean, if you imagine that someone's tiny dick ended up killing millions of people just because he had a tiny dick and he couldn't deal with it. So he was like, I gotta take over the planet.
I mean, but look at these guys shooting up these schools, man. What can motivate you, or what has made you that mad to where you have to go shoot up, you know, children? I don't, that's some psychology, man.
That's
so
do you think it's the medication? That's what a lot of people say.
Medication?
You know, people say the people who are shooting up these schools are all fucked up on Lexapro and stuff.
I can believe that, but I mean, I know a lot of African American children that are highly medicated, and they're more like zombies. So why is theirs making them more drowsy and these other kids more violent?
Has there been a black school shooter?
No.
Great.
A drive-by. That's it.
Right. Right, but not like the fucking.
Nah.
Right.
Nah.
And you would think that it would be the opposite. You would think that some black kid would read some history books and be like, "Oh, man," and just go off, but that's not the case.
Man, every time we have these things, y'all give me some more information that's so fucked up that it never crossed my mind to think like, yeah, it's all white kids.
But where is that coming from, man? I mean, is it coming from the music? I mean, what is 9 Inch Nails about? I don't know. Like, what's going on with that?
I don't think it's 9 Inch Nails. I think it's like, I mean, it's pretty fucking like this guy I study meditation with, David Nichtern, says that like to understand a demon, all you have to understand is they're all only in their head. They don't feel their heart. They don't feel anything. They're all up in their head. And I think to shoot up the school, you can't feel, you're not feeling anything. You're numb. You have to be completely numb. There's no sense of compassion or empathy. That I would bet. There's no way they're feeling sorry for people. Self-absorption, narcissism, extreme narcissism.
Yeah.
Desire for fame.
There's I want y'all to hear this line and tell me what you think of this. This is from Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma. But he says, the nations are not bodies politic alone, but also souls politic. And woe to that people which, seeking the material only, forgets that it has a soul. Then we have a race petrified in dogma, which presupposes the absence of a soul and the presence only of memory and instinct, and demoralized by liquor. Such a nature can never lead civilization.
There it is.
Genuine flexion before the idol or the dollar atrophies the muscle which walks and the will which moves. Whoa.
Hey, can you read that last sentence again?
Yes. Let me find it for you. I got a habit of throwing the book down after I read, so
it deserved that level of throw down the book. It was really intense.
Core. Oh, damn it.
It's okay. I didn't mean to fuck things up there, man. I completely crushed the flow.
No. I'm glad I have to go back and try to find this now because
no, Marcus, forget it. What do you think?
No, here it is. I found it. Look at that.
Okay, great.
I found it. Genuflexion before the idol or the dollar atrophies the muscle which walks and the will which moves.
Yeah, right. It's just like if you're worshiping idols, you rot.
You're done.
You're done.
And the moment you forget about souls, you start to put your beliefs into the past, like ideas of the past, and what else? And instinct, which is skewed.
Yeah. And everybody becomes a robot. Everything's just like a meat machine. And then of course you can exploit them because you don't think they're real. You think they're just it requires complete dehumanization.
Yeah.
Is that what the Lego movie was about?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That, you know what? If you can think things don't have a soul, that's how you end up Epsteining people. You know, that's how you end up doing that shit. Is because you like don't think of them as like they're nothing to you. They're just like steaks.
Yeah. I saw a lot of that. When I went to what is it called? I went to the Museum of Psychiatry on Sunset, and they were showing all these articles and giving all this information about what Germans and other European countries did in the name of like science and medicine, like bipolar medication and any type of mental illness medication. Even creating a term, it's negritose or negritude or something like that, which is like a, this term to where they were teaching the kids that if you had black skin, you had a disease. So not only were they psychologically manipulating the people, then they were creating these quote unquote medicines because they were telling the people that they had different mental health illnesses that they probably didn't have, which then created other psychological, imbalances, in their brain, especially in women too. Man, before 1920, women didn't have any rights in this country, so they were doing a lot of like really messed up stuff to the kids as well. So yeah, that's interesting. I saw a video called Marcus. Did you ever see that video, How to Sell a Negro? Man, how spot on they were about the psychology of this Negro, so we can teach you how to sell him a product. Man, It's like, man,
Yeah.
they really study that.
They took it deep, man.
Wait, was this not? This was serious?
Yeah, this is serious.
It was some. It was
It
real.
looks serious. It
They
looks
got
serious.
It right.
How old was this?
I saw it a couple years back.
Yeah, but it looks like one of those
like 70s documentary things. Like
The
one of those
Secret of
PSA type
Selling
movies.
the Negro, 1954. Is that what you're talking about?
Could be. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
YouTube documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this is sinister. 817,000 views.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
They've
this
been
is
learning,
fucked
man.
up, man.
Green. They live in Chicago, in Atlanta or New York, in Detroit, St. Louis, Los Angeles.
I'll look at it
Oh,
later.
they got all the cities.
Yeah.
Man, it's creepy.
Oh no.
They
Man.
Yeah, they know us too well.
Well, I mean, that's like y'all. If we talked about Bernays yet, have you guys seen Century of the Self yet? Oh man, you got to watch this. Did you watch that thing?
No.
Century of the Self?
No.
Bernays was like Sigmund Freud's cousin. He was like Sigmund Freud's shitty cousin, and he used all of Freud's like black magic to sell shit to people. So he's considered the father of advertising. And yeah, so Bernays, here's an example of what he did. So like at the time, it was considered masculine to smoke. If you smoked as a woman, it was like something was off. Yeah. So what he did, this is what he did. He's like, okay, we need to get, well, first of all, this tobacco companies, think how evil they are. They're like, we got to get the other half of the population to smoke. So they go to Freud's fucking cousin to like figure out a way to do it. And what he does is he arranges a photo op during the Macy's Day Parade where women who were pro-voting stopped and pulled their skirts up and they had cigarettes in their garters, which they pulled out and smoked. And so then smoking a cigarette became associated with feminism. And to show you were a feminist, you would smoke. Boom. He attached the product to a movement and then voila. Suddenly women, and he did shit like that over and over again. He was proud of it. He looked like a fucking reptilian. Like when you see videos of him, he's like eating with like silver spoons over like gold plates. Like, I'm proud of what I did. He was like an unapologetic demon. You gotta watch it. It's really intense. It like creeps you out when you realize how seductive these bastards are and how like much they understand your psychology and how much they don't give a fuck. Like, yes, please. You do? Yeah, I'd love a little bit. Thank you. You know that okay, what was that shitty commercial the Kardashian did where she came and brought a Coke?
Yeah, the Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, that was what they were trying to do. It was pure Bernays. They were like, let's attach Pepsi to an ambiguous activism movement. So Pepsi becomes not just the drink of the activists, but the drink of peace between the oppressive authorities and the activists. Let's see if we can make Pepsi the connecting point between the people and the state. And it just failed miserably, thank God. And like people just roasted it.
My God, yeah, that was terrible. That shit was terrible.
I don't mean to divert. Have y'all talked about the UFO thing yet?
No.
My wife is so sick of this shit. So, but no joke. Maybe people, I don't know how many people will watch this to this day. I don't know. But Tucker fucking Carlson. So I go to Reddit Conspiracy every night. Reddit Conspiracy, there's a post. Tucker Carlson just said that the Pentagon's about to reveal that they have a UFO. No fucking way. Tucker Carlson, 26 minutes in. I'll post the link in a second. He like, sure as shit, he says that the New York Times is about to do a report that the Pentagon has a secret program that's studying UFOs and that they have like wreckage of a craft not from this earth. And I'll put the link up right now. They're saying next week, it's a bombshell that the New York Times is putting out. There's already a New York Times article about it that says basically what Tucker Carlson said. In the comments, the reporters are answering questions and basically confirming that, yeah, they've got some kind of ship. They found a ship, or they've got some kind of wreckage, or they have some proof for real. Like, it's like all the shit you've been hearing about is actually kind of real. And it's about to come out next week, supposedly. I'll post the link right now so y'all can
knew
see.
it. No. I already said it to people.
What do you mean? You called it?
I called it. I said the next thing to get people distracted, and not to distract people, not necessarily distract, but 2020 is just that year where they're just going to put it all out there, man. And it's up to people to choose what they want to believe, because it's already so much crazy shit that's happening that now they can like sort of like, you know, kind of empty out the memory card a little bit. It's like, I don't have to store all this data anymore. I can like let it go so we can have more secrets.
Wow.
Look, man, I mean, that's one of the ideas, is that it's because, to me, it's hilarious. This, by the way, I don't know how to get it to the people watching, but I'm going to give it to y'all. So this is 26 minutes into Tucker Carlson. Just think about that. 26 minutes in, he says they're about to say that they have an alien ship, but they waited to say it 26 minutes in. You don't lead with that. You don't, the implications of that shit, you know what I mean? That's like, the implications are so fucking intense. Number one, it means that they've been hiding it from us, which is ethically so fucked up. Number two, it means we're not alone in the universe. And number three, it means, why the fuck are they telling us now? Some people are saying it's a distraction. What if the visitors gave them a deadline? What if the visitors said, listen, we're giving you a year to get people ready, but we're coming whether you like it or not? And so now they're just telling us because they got to, because they're like, yeah, we're going to show up.
Yeah. And coronavirus was to like keep us in the house.
What's that?
I said, and coronavirus could have been like, keep them in the house. Don't let them see this.
I think they've been here, man. Whenever you see those little orbs of light, those are the UFOs. Which, what if the UFOs are like some of your ancestors, like coming back to like come find you and get some info to you, but the government is trying to block them because maybe they're trying to like give you keys to how to overthrow society, and they know that. How about that?
Well, I'll tell you what the fucking key is, man. The key is give us the ability to get off the planet and tell us another planet we can go to. And that's it. What happens then? To the moment, like, just the thought experiment of like all these asshole politicians. Like, you think fucking Lindsey Graham is staying on Earth? If there's some pleasure planet he can fly off to in his little silver fucking ship? No. No. He didn't. I get Lindsey Graham. You think fucking Ted Cruz is sticking around? No, they're gone. You think Trump stays? No. All the leaders, all the people are like, this is our planet. Do what I say. They're gone. They're just gonna they're gone. If they could leave, the only reason they give a fuck about having power is not for us. It's to try to make sure that they can like have all the shit. That's it. And also the other thing is, do you think we're going to stick around? Like, who stays, especially if you can come back? That's the whole point. The moment that, like, also the economy is wrecked, because if there's the ability to like use these gravity propulsion ships that they're using, meaning that like you can just like just zip out of the planet. Now you've got asteroid mining. Now asteroid mining doesn't cost billions of dollars to do. Now asteroid mining, you can just do it theoretically. Now you can just get gold, you can get diamonds, bring them back here. All this, suddenly we go from limited resources to unlimited resources. That's the whole point. If they figured out a way to like, use like whoever that genius was, it was talking about people using thrust in the astral realm. It's like if suddenly there's a way to do some kind of propulsion where we don't have to use fossil fuels or solar, they've just figured out a way to fuck with the gravity well that we're in. Think just that alone, that you could just zip through the sky, no problem, no fossil fuels. That fucks up the whole oil industry. Everything immediately gets completely destabilized. All the shit that like think of this. You know, you go and travel and you like turn on the hotel TV and you watch local news, and it's always kind of cool because it's kind of campy, and the shit they're excited about is just small town shit that seems like they're talking about like a high school football team that won. Well, if we can go to other planets, then we'll be able to watch Earth news the way you watch like local TV. Like Earth news will just seem like one tiny little silly thing if suddenly we were to go like galactic, you know?
Yeah.
All the important shit doesn't seem important anymore. It all kind of like just by having spaciousness, the ability to leave, things would get better, I think. Right away, things would get better.
Absolutely. But what I get worried about in a sense is the idea that, let's say that this new technology does come that flips the oil industry on its head, that flips, you know, the tobacco business on its head, all this stuff. All those people who are in power of those companies are just going to jump ship into the other companies to make money and stay on top. It's not like they just die out and it's like, oh, now these new generation of, look, they already knew that their business was failing like a while ago, you know?
Yeah.
I just read something on, it's on brand, but it's a little off subject. But it's just like app called Quibi. They're basically like a streaming app that plays like 10-minute content. It's called Quibi because it stands for Quick Bites. Now they expected this company, because everybody invested in this company. This was $1 billion invested company, and they already see that their projections aren't even going to be at 30% of what they need to be by this time next year, right? So somebody who had this genius idea that was going to blow streaming out of the water or blow whatever out of the water, like now they know that this idea is tanked pretty much, and that they need to get off of this boat and jump on another that's going to make the rise to take over what this thing was, right? So that's what I think the same thing happens with, you know, oil industries and things like that. Like even tobacco industries are trying to move into the marijuana industry.
Oh, yeah.
And so like, because they know that shit is dying, or it's not dying, but you know, it's just another way to make money.
Right.
So they know already, you know, they know going down, they know when the ship is sinking to hop on another boat.
Well, look, man, I think that if next week they reveal that there's fucking aliens for real, I don't know, man. Like, where are you going to jump ship? Like, all of our history changes. You know, like all history changes. The pyramids. You know what I mean? Shut the fuck up. Those were built by people. You know what I mean? Suddenly all this stuff, we're like, I don't know how they made it. It's like, I think I know how they made it.
Yeah.
You know, like they come sometimes. And maybe sometimes, like, maybe they are recognizing the thing we're all feeling, and they're like, you know, maybe they're sort of, they wait to come to a place until they have to. Maybe they monitor us, and then like when shit is really about to get out of control, because the stories about these craft, and you know, Ted Cruz literally just said, he didn't say these words. He said, what the fuck are these? Because they're showing up at military bases. These are confirmed reports of these tic tac things that seem to be able to like move in ways that we understand how that we understand how the technology could work theoretically, but we can't build that technology. Basically, somehow they're creating enough mass in a tiny way to make it so the Earth's gravity well doesn't affect them. And that's how they're moving around and shit. But they're showing up over missile silos. And they're putting in the missile silos codes to activate the missiles. And they're activating the missiles and then deactivating them and then flying off. And they can't catch them. And it's like they're saying, do you think these are powerful? You know what I mean? They're like showing off. Monkey descendant. This isn't anything.
You monkey descendant.
So,
well, I heard that they got some footage from some landmass on Mars, and there was a big pyramid, and it was a big face of this African man.
Yeah.
So, could this be just a higher form of human beings, and maybe they're trying to get back to us? You know, because this is what I want to know. How is it that all these stars in outer space, half of them apparently are millions of years already dead, so they don't even exist anymore. We're just now receiving their light. So half of the stuff that we see in the sky isn't even there because it already happened. And where are these other things coming from? Like, did they already happen, or are they so old to where by the time they get to us, like they're like 1 trillion years old? You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Or light is them.
What was it?
What if the light reaching us is their sentience? Everybody's like, the fucking stars died. It's like, yeah, maybe the star died, but the light is still alive. It's still reaching us. And maybe wound up in the light is the sentience. That's what they are. They're in the light, you know? So when they're coming, that's the way they visit us, is they just travel through the light. I don't know. Maybe, you know, we're made of starlight. We're made of stars. Carbon comes from stars. So, and yeah, man, I like, the steps to me are, okay, if next week the New York Times says, yeah, there's some shit out there and they've been covering it up, but there's shit out there, then suddenly it's like every eye roll that I did when I heard about civilization on Mars, I got to take those eye rolls back. You know, when, you know, there were literal, man, one of the fucking, I can't remember which astronaut, he literally said there's monoliths up on the moon. He said that they're up there. There's a monolith up there. There's structures up there. There's shit up there already. You know, and they don't want to know it for some reason. Because if we know it, then their mind control doesn't work as well. Their shit only works in the way that it works on when you're holding a hostage. You know what I mean? We have to listen to these fucking assholes because we're stuck on the planet. And they make themselves out to be the most powerful thing. But if we know for sure there's other stuff out there, I don't know, man. It fucks up their power dynamic, which is why they don't want us to know about it, I think.
But what's the point of living on the moon, though? What do you think what's fun to do?
Dude, I don't fucking know. I'll tell you when I get up there. Well, you know, they say the whole damn thing's a shit. They say it's hollow. They say that when you hit the moon, the whole thing vibrates. Like if you stomp on the moon, it's like, you know. So that's one of the great ideas, is the fucking thing's a satellite that has been positioned around our planet to watch us.
Wow. They've never tried to like dig a hole, like just dig as far as they can.
The Chinese are up there. I don't know. Who the fuck knows, man? I don't know. Why didn't we go back? You know, what did we get up there and someone's like, get the fuck off of this thing? You know?
Never return.
Yeah.
So in West Africa, in Mali, the Dogon tribe, a lot of their mythology, which is and a lot of their science, says that their ancestors come from the Sirius star, which is the North Star. And it's interesting because around Sirius A is Sirius B, which is a dwarf star, but you can't see it from our perspective here on Earth. It takes like this really expensive telescope. But how for whatever reason the Dogon were able to see it like 1,000 years ago, but they also were able to map it out with like its distance from Sirius A, how much it weighed, what consisted of it. I don't know how they got all this information about this star or from Sirius A, but if you look at a lot of their mythology, it talks about that being the home planet of, you know, where their ancestors are from. So
there you go. There you go. All of a sudden, that shit becomes totally real. You know that it's not real, but you know, all of a sudden, if there's like alien wreckage, it's like, yeah, the reason they were able to describe that. I've heard what you're talking about. They say the only way that you could have described it the way they did was you would have had to have like been there. They were describing it from the perspective of having been on the planet, like the way they were describing, I think, something about the moons or something. Like I remember hearing something about that it's literally impossible. Isn't it weird that shit gets swept under the rug? That we're just like, well, I don't know. I guess they just guessed.
Oh,
well,
man.
I think it has to be, man, because if this was more out there, then why would you watch Family Matters and Full House when you're a kid? You know?
Yes.
Why would you want to watch cartoons? You wouldn't. You'll be outside trying to figure out like, yo, what star can we go to next? Not worried about no shoes or no video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's bad for the advertisers, man.
Yeah.
They just want us to. They want to what? They want to just sell us shoes? How pathetic!
Right.
How pathetic!
Why?
Why do you want us here? Let us go. I mean, you know like there's like all kinds of dumb movies about people who went in a bomb shelter and then they come out 50 years later and like the world has been going on. Is that what we're like for the galaxy? Like we've just been stuck in here because some dumbass, power-hungry, narcissistic fucks are like, don't let them know that there's a way off this motherfucker because then you can't sell them phones.
Yo, that's that demiurge that they talk about.
Yes.
Which is that draining energy. Like I just want to feed off you the same way, like, you know, it's just like food to the slaughter. We're just here to, you know, give energy to something. And it's trying to create ideas for us to feel like we're doing something, but all we're doing is giving our energy to this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that the Lord is my shepherd. That means you're a sheep. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? I'm not a cattle.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. Let me guide you this way. Let me guide you that way. That's all attention, which is the biggest currency. So, dang, that's something right there.
Man,
That's something.
Johnny.
That's exactly right. The demiurge. Fuck yeah, it is that. That's it. That's it. Robert Anton Wilson talked about how the religion of this planet, there's a secret religion, and anyone who enforces hierarchy is a priest in that religion. So the religion is all about enforcing hierarchy, and that the demiurge is like who they worship. And the whole idea is anytime you see anyone like fucking kicking protesters, pepper spraying people, they're at church. They're worshiping. That's the way they pray. They pray by fucking killing your ass, subjugating you, making you docile, making you submit. That's what Robert Anton Wilson said, that it's literally like the secret religion on this planet is the hierarchy. So if anytime you get around someone who's telling you anything that's like, get in your place, you're out of your lane, listen to me, obey my authority, that's the high priest worshiping the demiurge and enforcing the laws of the demiurge and this plane of existence.
So this makes me think of this, right? And I feel like this is a question we keep coming back to, but I don't know if we fully answered it with our hearts and souls. is it necessary then, in order for us to have, you know, the anarchy of the voices on the right and the left, and the idea of like that's what creates the balance? Like, wouldn't we be the docile sort of like limp, you know, bodies if we just kind of let everything just happen to us? Isn't that the thing that they want, right? Like just all right, let me get settled in my thought. The goal I feel and what I'm hearing is that we become docile, we become desensitized, we become sheep.
Yeah.
We move in a way that allows the system to work smoothly. When I think about peace, when I think about world peace and all this stuff that people talk about, I feel like that's what is gonna happen. Like that's where my mind goes. It's like, oh shit, everybody's just gonna like never complain about the shit that's happening in them no matter what, because everybody has to go through it. But like, if people are complaining, or if people are like arguing or trying to just get their point made, you know, no matter what the point is, as long as they're fighting, as long as they're like yelling and screaming and causing disruptions, like, is that the point of it all? Is that what we're working towards in this life? Is the disruption to the bump against the system of what we think we know, right?
Uh-oh. What happened to we lost Duncan for a minute. He'll be back.
He'll be back. But do you see what I'm saying though? Do you see what I'm saying about like
so you're asking like is the whole point to keep us distracted?
Like if we just get used to all of this, right? If we just get used to the shootings, if we just get used to, you know, being told to, you know, wear masks and do these kind of things, like if we just get used to the idea that like all of this stuff, and then we just all just become like peaceful, you know, with one another, and then it's just like we all have, yeah, like a fake peace. You know, like this is like, it's not really peace. It's just everybody just taking it, you know, just taking life for what it is, you know, and not necessarily standing up for what they believe or what they think is right, whether it's right or wrong, you know. It's the disruption. It's the disruption. Is that what it's about? Is that what this life is about? The disruption of like moving like a sheep.
No, I think that's just part of it, man.
Like free will, right?
Yeah. I think that's part of it because like this duality, you know. So I think Duncan he says he locked out. He might try to come back though. But but that duality, man, it's like you gotta have something to resist, to push you, you know. And so maybe we need some type of adversary in order for us to evolve into thinking about being something different. Because what does it look like if everything was just going well? You know, for a moment it would feel great, but after a while, don't you think we would get the mind, I feel like the mind will always want to do something else. It'll never get tired. And I think that's the necklace around the neck of Kali, is all those different heads of the ego, because it ain't gonna never go nowhere. And you're gonna always have to just keep killing it. And I think, you know, we're really starting to face different forms of it right now because it's been ruling us for so long. You know, because I was reading this book and it's saying that, you know, we've been in this, you know, our consciousness has been in a sleep cycle for like the past 2,500 years. So if you look at the past 2,500 years, it's been nothing but war and discourse and some twilight type of stuff. Like how does the whole planet get conquered by one small part of the planet? Like that's crazy, you know?
Yeah. 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 It's like the tiniest little bit, right?
Yeah.
But it's
So
so
that
many
means
like
something
secrets in
had to
that,
happen.
right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
then like what was that we were talking about with the banks? Uh that bank in England that that just found out that
Are we talking about Lloyd's of London?
yeah,
Yeah.
just found out it had all these ties to slavery and stuff, man. And like, you
Yeah.
know, you know, I heard they're gonna have to pay up soon.
Hopefully. I'm trying to get Coca-Cola to give us a check. Shoot.
How much, man? What's feasible? What's feasible
What's feasible?
for your ancestors' work, man? What is a feasible number?
Uh, I say that's a good question, man. Um, 50% of the company has to be dispersed among the descendants of the people who help you build as well.
50% of America's wealth should belong to African Americans, you feel like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's duality, man. It wouldn't exist without it. So what do you mean? Like we did all the work. All we asked for 10%.
Well, we asked for 10%. That's just the tip. That's just supposed to be the tip on top of what you already owe.
And that's only asking for a number because we're in a capitalistic world. Outside of that, it's not really no number. It's
Yeah, it's
really
not a
like
real number. It's not a real
really,
number you could put on pain and trauma, man.
yeah.
You know, that comes from I don't think that like every gesture that has been put out there has been empty, but I think that like the idea that like, you know, the real when we talked about this a couple weeks ago about like what does reparations look like to you? What does that thing look like? And I had said like Wakanda, essentially. Like I think that there should be a space that is sort of given uh to people who would like to uh sort of break themselves off in a place so that they can find themselves uh in a place where they feel like they can go out, into the world and again in a way. I guess the best way I can explain it is like, going to Alabama State before I like went out into the world was a huge deal. It's a huge deal to be around uh people who had like similar backgrounds, understood, you know, uh my life without actually, living my life. Uh it was a huge thing to like learn and grow into who I am as a person going through that. And I imagine if people had that in a very uplifting society that wasn't like education based, but actually like life, I think that would work. Duncan, you back?
You made it work. I had to unplug the modem and plug it back in.
Nice. Welcome back.
Sorry about that, man. You were
Nah, man.
hitting us dry and I fucked it up.
Nah, man. It's all good.
What were you saying, Marcus?
I was just talking about when we talked about reparations a couple weeks ago and what that looked like and how I just feel like being in a nurturing environment, a society in which that's been literally built to nurture and build you up. You know, I was just saying, Duncan, going to the HBCU for me was a great way to nurture my being and who I was and what I was about to embark on in life, essentially. And I'm glad I had that experience so that I, you know, I could know who I was and be confident in that as I walked out into the world that of people who would try to tell me who I am and try to, you know, put me into a box of what I am. And I just feel like I was nurtured into my adulthood, being around very like-minded, like-bodied people and in experiences and things like that. So it to me, that reparation looks like a place that people can go to get that nurturing, that nurturement, you know what I mean, to build them up and put them in a place to where going out into society, there is a very clear understanding of who you are. You come out with a very clear understanding of what your worth is and what you have to offer the world. I just think that a place like that would be a great start into sort of like what the US could do to help Black people.
What does it look like? Like, what would the sort of like it, just off the top of your head?
I mean, you know, I you know, it's like about 30% of me that's bullshit when I say Wakanda, but seriously, like an agricultural land that has technology that is like that sort of supersedes, you know, what we're used to in a sense. It's not just like a fucking cable modem and a computer and then you tell us to like go for it. It's like technologies and tools that like actually help and build things for the future. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's more than just like coding. It's like coding for like machines that will essentially help us build houses easier. You know, technologies that will allow us to be able to be economically independent, you know, things like that. I imagine that's what it would look like.
Do you picture this as like a segregated place?
I would say it is segregated for the time being.
So it's like a temporary like consensual in the sense that you're going there because you want to go there, and it's temporary. You go there for like a university for a few years. Like it's like
exactly.
It's making me think of like the kibbutz or something.
Yeah, Johnny. Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Cool.
You know, and but I say that the limit is once 75% of the African American population is at like a certain amount of economic wealth, I feel like that's when it's like, okay, this program has succeeded. This thing, you know, there's a way to, you know, a relearning center, not necessarily a relearning center. It's just this is where we go from here center and a safe haven. Exactly. Exactly.
I think getting really detailed about it is like, I think like it's interesting. I know you feel like weird about using Wakanda as an example, but Wakanda is like a reflection of this idea that there's a place called Shambhala, Atlantis. Like this, it's like the idea of like the enlightened city, the enlightened city. It's like, and also it's very American of you because America started off with this, like a lot of parts of it were like utopian visions, ideas of like how. So I think it's cool to like get deep into thinking about what it would actually look like. Like what would it I mean, not even worrying about the resource problem or like how do you find the place itself, but just like if you had unlimited resources, what would it look like? What would this place look like? It's one thing that keeps coming up is it's like a safe place.
Yeah.
So what that to me implies like different, a completely different, like it's not the way we understand law enforcement or whatever. That's not happening in this place.
Yeah. This place is much different. This is you know, I would imagine that this place is much more council run. You know what I mean? Like the neighborhood will take care of itself. You know, I imagine it being that kind of place. You know, I remember my uncles and aunts telling me stories about how their neighborhoods used to be safe. You know, like in the 90s when crime got really bad in certain neighborhoods. You know, they would talk about how you know, like that stuff didn't go down for them in their neighborhoods back in the day because you know they kept their own street safe. You know, those people knew not to come around their place doing that type of shit. So I imagine that that's what this place would look like. Essentially.
I can't hear you.
I think you're muted, brother.
Oh, my bad. But isn't that what America is? Because since America was built by our ancestors and we didn't build new European ideas, they forced our ancestors to take what they knew from where they came from and bring it over here. So there was a city in like I think the Congo that they talked about, I think either in like the 1800s or the 1700s, where like if I'm not mistaken, the freaking streets were paved with gold. So they already had like metropolitan cities
Yeah.
in ancient parts of Africa, you know. So the idea of a Wakanda isn't like some new idea to aspire to. It's almost like this is what you will be getting back to because building a pyramid takes a supreme science and technology. So it might not have looked like gadgets are everywhere, but that's the level of the science that these people were on. And so that DNA is still in us, man. And so I
It's
don't know.
just like I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know, it's making me think about all these places I'm starting to think of that were for black people that I've been learning about lately, like in Manhattan Beach. You know, that's been going around. Like Manhattan Beach was really Bruce's beach, but it got taken away from this man, you know, this black man who wanted to have a safe place for black people to be able to go to the beach, but that got taken away, and now it's Manhattan Beach. You know, I'm thinking about Central Park. Central Park was a booming black neighborhood, and that got taken away, and people got massacred. And then it was like, now it's Central Park,
There was
Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know,
right.
Black Wall Street, bomb, taken away.
There was a beautiful city that was created, that was founded by half Mexican, half African man and 44 other Mexican African people. And they named this city in 1848 Los Angeles. And this is what it is in 2020. So there you go. There's another one.
Yeah, I'm hearing that ethereal voice too, speaking with you, Brandon. That's pretty cool.
Say what?
You got an ethereal voice going on with your regular voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the aliens are playing the joke on you right now.
They're channeling right now.
Are you channeling? Man, I love what I really love is like mystical cities. I love the idea of the enlightened, like Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche talks about Shambhala all the time. And in Tibetan Buddhism, they really believe that there's this like enlightened city. So I think it's really cool to imagine like cities can be like archetypes. Like if like a society gets to a certain level of consciousness, the city appears. And if a society, like if their consciousness is fading, it can't, you know, you have to, like what you were saying about the technology that used to exist, you know, like to keep these kinds of cities functioning, even you have to have like unlimited resources, you know, and then they can appear. I don't know. I think like really, Mark is really looking into like all the stories of the great mystical enlightened cities and then drawing out this place. I think that would be worthwhile, like really getting detailed about it.
Yeah, I might look into that, man. You just made me think about this. We just saw this oh shit, I don't see it right now. But we were looking at YouTube and this commercial for this Gaia channel, streaming channel. Y'all ever heard of this?
Yeah.
Gaia streaming channel. But they got this show where they want to like take you back and teach you about all the mystic ways and, you know, who really control what and why. You know, there were giants and they protected the secrets. I forgot the other names that they used in that, man, but I was trying to find the show that was talking about this stuff, man. They were sort of talking about, you know, Atlantis and those who controlled Atlantis and what that was about. I kind of want to check that out. No, I don't see the show. I tried to look it up. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, man, I think like that study is really cool because I do think those places existed and maybe still exist. They just don't exist on this like level of reality right now. They exist in your mind and your heart, but they don't, like, you know, they come into being when there's the right alignment of consciousness.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Yeah. Why you keep muting yourself, man?
He's very polite.
I
don't know how to mute myself.
I was saying I think they do exist. Like look at how they say nothing is new up under the sun. So, you know, everything just keeps repeating itself. It's just one big cycle, right? Like look at how many names in the South, how many cities are named after like Rome and Egypt. And so, you know, did they just name it that, you know, or did the ideas of that energy or that consciousness travel to that place? You know what I mean? Or like maybe fragments of it. Like the ancient Atlantis later on in the Twilight Zone become Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Atlanta's the degraded version of it. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, like we still have the memory of it. It still lingers in our minds. It was that amazing a place that we still talk about it today. Like, think of that. Like, we still we dream of it to this day. That's how amazing it was. Like, you know, and that it's like it lives in people's minds. Johnny Mack says, I feel like the Garden of Eden disappeared like that. It was all in the mind. And that, to me, I think that like the idea is like if you try to think in terms of like how the fuck would we build this Wakanda place, it's immediately you run into the wall of reality or whatever. But if the idea is the city mirrors consciousness, then it almost implies that if somehow people start upshifting their consciousness, then that thing it would appear on its own. You know, it just gives some action. You know, it gives you something, an idea. Like, in other words, it could start with a conversation.
I got a question about spiritual leadership, man. I've been thinking about going up to this place where I got those crystals from, where I got those amethysts. Thinking about going to that owner and telling him I want spiritual advisement from him. But is that how the whole like student teacher or master student thing works in a sense?
Well, for me, I've let nature become my mentor unless I need something specific that I know somebody can specifically help me on, you know. So in that regard, then I would need multiple mentors, you know. But having one mentor for just like myself, I kind of let the universe send it to me by whatever means necessary, whether that be through me calling you or some random person on the street who I run into, or some plant medicine I just had, or a TV show I just
Yeah.
watched. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, I think I say that because, like, you know, I had a very powerful image of me speaking with him about this in my backyard. Like I said, man, I started digging a hole in my backyard, just like going back there with a shovel and just fucking digging the shit out of a hole, man. And you know, and while I was back there, I started thinking about all the things I wanted to learn about the earth, about the land. And this particular this owner of the store, you know, he's Native American. And the conversation I had with him that day when I got the amethyst, just sort of like, I keep going back to it. I keep thinking about it. And I keep feeling like this dude is supposed to teach me something about my land, about the land that I'm occupying right now. And I will be better for it.
Do it.
I'm just going to do it.
Do it.
I'm do it.
Listen to it. Listen to that. I mean, worst case, what happens? You end up on a cold, or you end up in a cold. Worst case, you end up in a cold. It's still cool. Man, listen to that. Like one of the things Ram Dass says that I love is, like, even the bad teachers teach you something. Like, if you go there and it turns out that it's just like some kind of crystal monger who wants, it's still cool. I say listen to it. Make sure people know where you are, but listen to it.
Yeah.
I remember what you said to me about, when he was talking about earning your name.
Yeah.
Heavy, man. That's cool. And that did sound like an invitation.
Right?
Yeah, but like I said, man, if whatever you feel like, so if you feel like something is pulling you to that, listen to yourself, man.
Do it.
Man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go up there, man. I'm gonna go up there this week, and I'm gonna report back next Friday.
Yeah, cut next Friday's Philosophy Club. You're not here. I feel like
no, I'm here
on earth.
I'm here, but I can't say anything, and I'm just like
drooling. Marcus. One of your eyes has been replaced with an amethyst.
I got this huge cut across my head.
Lobotomized you. Hey, y'all, I gotta go. We're gonna eat dinner now, so I gotta split. But next Friday I will not be so disorganized. I'm here next Friday.
No, man, it's great, dude. We got to get together again soon.
Yes, very, very soon. Actually, really, really soon. Let's have a meeting. Really,
next weekend.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have to. Well, we've got some. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll talk to you all soon.
Oh man, love you guys.
All right, thank you for this, y'all. Thank you so much.
Good night. Peace.